This has to be my favorite promotion that we've done so far.
The free 30 days of coaching?
The free 30 days of coaching.
Because it's free.
Yeah, because it's free.
If you're not on the free 30 days of coaching, you're silly.
Yeah, you're
silly.
And
it's
your
free.
mom and your uncle.
It's free.
And your
as
aunt.
soon as you go to mindpumpmedia.com, it pops right up.
Everybody.
Yep, and it's free. So that's free for
well, tell
everybody.
them what happens when they sign up for it.
Well, the idea, what inspired it was exactly the steps that we go through with somebody when someone first hires us, the types of conversations that we're having for the first 30 days. We go over nutrition, we go over exercise, we go over weight training, mobility, all these things. We get into gut flora, microbiome. So all these topics that we feed our clients in the first 30 days, we've condensed that into a 30-day of free coaching where each day you'll get dripped an email with bullet points of a topic. And then underneath that topic, if it's a topic that you don't know a lot about, there will be 3 to 4 links to the actual podcast where we've talked in depth about that specific topic. So if maybe the first day pops up, it's protein, and you're like, I know everything I need to know about protein, so maybe you don't find it necessary.
Or do you?
Right?
Yeah.
So you don't find it necessary to click on links. But then the next day, gut flora pops up, and you're like, you know what? I want to know more about that. Then you have all the links on there, so you can click.
It's just a real helpful tool to kind of refer to all the time as well. Even if you do know a lot about these subjects, we go into a lot of depth on these podcasts, and so it's just nice to be able to reference these very specific subjects and always be able to kind of take that information and then pass it on to other people.
It's also easy to share.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you have a friend or family member that doesn't listen to our show, but you want, give them information on a particular, subject, maybe it's wellness related, or maybe it's, carbohydrate intake or, fat intake, you can send them this information. They can sign up and they'll get it, and they'll have episodes, like Adam was saying, that they can listen to where we go into some of these subjects at depth.
But if you want more, what do we got going on this month?
Well, I mean, take it to the next level. I mean, one of the best things that we offer where you get constant information is our forum. Constant. It's constant information there's personal trainers on there. There's competitors. Me, Adam, and Justin are on there. Lots of fitness enthusiasts. It's a wonderful community of Mind Pump listeners who are all like-minded. People post videos of their exercise form techniques, their modifications on their programs. I love seeing how people have modified our MAPS programs individually and how people share.
It's very helpful to other people going through the same process. So.
It's awesome. And our forum this month, you can actually get it for free. All you have to do is enroll in either our RGB bundle, which includes MAPS Anabolic, MAPS Performance, and MAPS Aesthetic, or our MAPS Super Bundle, which has all of that plus MAPS Prime and MAPS Anywhere. So both of those bundles will give you lots of exercise programming. RGB will take you through about 9 months of exercise programming. The MAPS Super Bundle is about a year's worth of exercise programming. Enroll in either one of those, and you get access to the forum absolutely for free. So you can find all this, the 30 days of coaching, the super bundles, and the giveaway at mindpumpmedia.com.
If you want to pump your body and expand your mind, there's only one place to go. Mind Pump. Mind Pump with your hosts, Sal DiStefano, Adam Schaefer, and Justin Andrews.
I want to ask you a question, Adam.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I've noticed a few changes lately.
You like the stash, don't you?
Well, it's part of the changes. And I want to know what's going on here. So little by little, you've slowly it seems like you're morphing little by little into a, I don't know, like a hippie?
Hipster?
Yeah.
No, not at all, actually.
You know what you look like? You
what
look
it
like
is?
Colin, what's his name? Colin Farrell?
Oh, yeah.
Like
right.
in the 90s.
Yeah.
Just when,
For sure.
I'm so anti putting me in a box that I like to change it up as much
It's
as
going to make him change now. Watch. He's going to come in.
I will.
He's going to come in looking
100%.
different tomorrow.
100%. Like it's just when everybody gets used to it and it's like, hey, and starts talking shit, I'll be on to the next thing. So it's just, I don't like to be put in a box. I'm not like anybody else but myself.
Although I'm going to be honest with you, very few people can grow that kind of a mustache, like the fucking power.
I want to see you in a fedora.
That don't. Yeah, I know very few people can grow a power mustache and look good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can't either. I'm just saying, very few people. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, looks good on you. And then you got the beanie, so you look like is it Cheech or Chong that used to look like that with the mustache?
I'm not sure if
I'm
I
gonna
look like
guess
Cheech
Cheech.
or
I don't
Chong
know.
very much. You know what I've been watching? What inspired
Chong
it
was
was
the tall one, right?
Was Chong the tall one?
I think so.
Okay, so you look like yeah, you're right.
Cheech Martin.
You're
Have
right.
you seen Hell on Wheels on Netflix?
No.
Oh, cool show. Cool show. I just got
Common, isn't that right? The rapper Common.
Oh, you know what? I think he is.
He is Hell on Wheels. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a good actor.
I think he is in that.
What's
yeah,
it about?
It's the railroad. So the building of the railroad. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool story. And
So is it like a dramatization of how that process went
Yeah.
about?
Mhm.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know,
It's actually really cool.
so Rockefeller, they have Rockefeller in there and all that.
It hasn't been introduced yet. But I'm barely on. I want to say episode 6 or 7, and it's pretty cool right now.
Yeah, because
Trying to remember the names
You
of the
know, if you
characters that are
adjust for inflation or whatever, and comparison, I think Rockefeller still is the richest man of all time.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Really?
Yeah, if
He controls the world.
not-
If you compare
according
it to the
If you compare-
inflation and everything, because
Yeah, and
obviously
like-
back then,
and the rest of the world.
$1 million back then is like $1 billion.
Yeah, I
now.
think he'd be a trillionaire today if you
Wow.
were to equate it or something like that.
Well,
Like he had that much money.
Yeah,
Was it Standard Oil? He was Standard Oil, right? I think so.
I don't know.
excellent.
But the show's pretty cool. I'm not sure how close to history they stay on it or not, but it's pretty interesting. It's pretty cool. The characters are cool in there. I like the main guy. I can't think of his name. He was in what's his name? He's in hell of movies too. That's what I like about all the Netflix now is like they have all these like A-list actors that are doing these shows. It makes them so much better when they're good.
Yeah, they've definitely sort of taken a lot of these actors away from movie roles now because this is a popular thing is the streaming TV shows because they can put such high production into them now.
Yeah.
And keep people there.
Yeah.
I heard some crazy statistic about Netflix. Oh, God, I don't even know why I brought it up because I don't even know it. It's one of those things. It was they're making so much money per month. It was unreal.
Netflix?
Yeah.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah. Based off of their subscription alone.
It's definitely one of my favorite companies to watch. That's actually what inspired it. We're watching it. All these dudes have got badass handlebar mustaches.
Oh, that's what's the inspiration.
Yeah. And I
Are
remember.
you going to handlebar it out? Are you going to twist
Well,
the
if you went more,
No, that's
you'd
not
be more
handlebar.
like Kurt Russell. Remember when he was in
Tombstone.
Tombstone? Thank you.
Yes.
God, that was a badass character. that he
Yeah,
played,
all the
man.
guys in here are like badass. I'm like, you know what? I'm
Yeah.
fucking rocking. But I have
It's one
to.
of those
I
things.
can
Though,
see it.
It's one of those things. I feel like men grow not for women. Like very few,
No, women are
Yeah, very few things that guys will do to their appearance for men.
right.
and
like,
that's
like
one of
shave their head. Like,
Yeah,
I always go through periods like that where I want to shave my head, and then my wife's always just like, "No,
Yeah.
don't do it."
I'll be
Like,
dry.
oh, but I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Katrina's not the biggest fan of it, but it's growing on her.
Has she stopped? She's a mustache is growing on her.
No, not a mustache. It's growing.
Oh,
on her.
liking it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I was gonna say.
What?
Yeah.
We play.
She's getting testosterone on
Yeah.
accident.
We-
Babe, don't drink that.
Yeah, the handlebar mustache is not sexy on her. Although it does for us, it's great. It's great for role play. We play railroad.
really?
Choo choo, Mr. Conductor.
Yeah, all right. Oh, that's a good little insight there. Thank you.
I can't make it over the hill. I'll push you up, honey. I think I can. I think I can.
Yeah, definitely. We try to get man 6 years.
Ooh, I don't know if I can
We've been
handle
together
that.
6
Or
years. You
you
gotta get
like-
creative, man.
Or you're like the train robber that comes in. Give me your purse.
We've done both,
lady.
We've done both.
No,
yeah.
you haven't.
Yeah, no. When I first did it, I told you I tried the creepy molester one, and that didn't work so well. Yeah, she wasn't into. Hey, little girl, I have some
Oh my
candy.
God, that's horrible.
Yeah,
Who would like that?
yeah,
You bought a van and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm open to
you went all
exploring
in.
things.
Do you guys honestly, have you guys ever done any like role play like that?
Of course, bro.
Really?
Yeah,
Mainly like
years.
superhero costumes.
You think I'm kidding? We were playing railroad the other night.
I would find it like I would laugh almost.
It
You know
is
what I
fun.
mean?
Well, it
Like,
helps.
I know that's you. Stop it.
It helps to get really high first. If you try, it's tough to do like come into a role play scenario completely sober. If you just decide like, hey, honey, let's role play. It's
No,
just,
see what you got to do is, okay, so like my wife went to Texas to go visit one of her friends. She came back, so I made sure and got a cowboy hat. You know what I'm saying?
Did you really?
Yeah.
oh my God, that's great.
But
She comes home.
She was like, like laughed at first and then was like, yeah, we're using that. You know? It's like, I knew it.
Yeah.
You know what
Really?
I mean? Yeah, dude. She's going to rodeos and shit. There's a bunch of manly dudes.
There's a lot of brilliance behind what he's saying right now.
That dude rodeo, and you got to bring that sort of imagery in.
Well, it's smart because the wife goes, right? Okay, she's away from the hubby. She's off. She's off somewhere with a bunch of cowboys. I'm sure there was at least one or two good-looking cowboys.
Oh yeah, and then
she's
so they
human and
flirted
had
with her.
yeah, right. So that's a very smart strategy,
Yeah,
Justin.
man.
I'm
just
actually
like,
quite proud of you. Right
That
there.
guy, come on, bro. Like, I got more than you, pal.
That's pretty.
You know, they did some studies on women in clubs, and what they did is they had this like fake nightclub, and they had women come in, and then what they did is they analyzed how much skin they had showing, and how much they moved their hips when they're dancing, which I believe is strongly correlated to like being sexual at the moment, like being
always
in the mood.
bringing the science.
And no, check this out.
Yeah.
The women, statistically speaking, the women that showed the most skin and who gyrated the most when they danced were, you ready for this? Married women who were ovulating but not with their partners at the club. They were the ones that were showing the most. Like,
Scandalous women.
God, isn't that crazy?
No, it's not crazy. It makes perfect sense.
it does. It makes a lot of sense.
That's why I told my girlfriend, like,
Yeah, they
basically, you're not allowed to go out anymore. You know what I mean?
That's
So
it.
she just stays home now.
Wow, yeah.
Not going anywhere.
It's gonna
When you're
work. It's gonna
ovulating.
work for a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, it works real well.
Yeah.
But isn't that crazy, though?
That is crazy.
Yeah. Because I think for guys, we're always like that, right? It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, I know. It's like every day.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, when I dance, I gyrate my hips a lot anyway.
Yeah.
Just because I can't dance.
I walk
though.
down the street and I'm just, slinging it.
You actually do a little bit.
A little bit, a little shuffle.
Justin was the last one to dance at all of us, right? He was getting down when we went out to On It. That was the last time anybody danced, right?
Was I
out of us?
dancing? Oh, I was. Huh?
Nobody danced.
Oh, he was doing a little.
Doing a little shaky tushy.
little
You were the only one to
little
dance.
jitterbug going on there.
No.
little jitterbug, little leprechaun jig. You know what I mean?
Bro, you got to get out of the 20s and shit. It's got that handlebar mustache. And
I'm not even the 20. I'm the 18th century.
that's advanced.
I forgot my top hat. You know what I mean? I used to have a top hat and a cane.
You were the
so-
only one that danced.
Well, I'm not afraid of it.
Yeah.
You guys are afraid of it. You got to work on your movement.
Yeah, if you ever see me dancing, you know I'm on something. You know, I had a couple topics I want to bring up in regards to fitness.
Oh, we are a fitness podcast.
Yeah.
I forgot
Is that
about
where
that.
we're going?
Yeah,
Oh,
in regards to
wow.
fitness. Sorry, audience. We're about to get into some fitness. I wanted to talk a little bit more. We've brought up a few times now, especially since working with Dr. Brink, on the importance of the smaller joints in the body and on function. Like we've talked a lot about the feet and the ankles.
Yeah.
We haven't talked much about the wrists, and the fingers.
Fingers, toes, right.
Yeah, and I it's interesting. We in the fitness community completely ignore the small joints. Like the more advanced trainers will look at the big joints, like the shoulders, the hips, elbows, knees. Very few people look at function of the hands and function of the feet and how those affect your recruitment patterns, how they affect your workouts. One of my biggest wake up calls was when you were doing your squats and your hips were balanced and you were getting good mobility, but you still hurt yourself. And I think it was Brink who pointed out I don't remember which foot it was. He
Yeah.
was like, oh, look at this. Your ankle's caving here and your toes aren't firing.
Yeah.
And it was something that we didn't even
It was so subtle.
Like, whoa.
we didn't even pay attention
Yeah,
to.
it was so subtle that I wouldn't even be looking at it because everything else mechanically looked good. That's a big.
I'm going to say something right now. It makes a huge. It's not a small difference.
No.
It makes a huge difference in how your body moves, and a lot of the dysfunction that we have in the rest of our body is compensating for the dysfunction that we have in these small joints of our bodies, and of course the shoes that we wear and the wrist straps that we wear when we lift weights, and there's studies that show that wearing wrist straps, for example, or straps. I don't know if you call them wrist straps or straps, the ones that wrap around the bar so you can hold on to heavier weight, actually changes the recruitment patterning all the way up into the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. It's interesting too, and I know where you're going with this because my brain has been living in this thought process because it's like almost taking a magnifying lens into the process of how you send signals, how you control your body, how you recruit properly, that entire process, how we can maximize that entire process and make it work for you better, and what are actual valid good recruitment patterns for each of these particular movements. And there are like more optimal ways to do things than there's not, and it's really about identifying those. And this takes a lot of it's a big humbling process, right? Mm-hmm. To go and to really put yourself under that lens and look further at your toes and like the dysfunction there, and like I'm like so not connected to that process. Well, that is a problem.
A lot of people don't even like. Here's an interesting statistic. Like if you lose your big toe in one of your feet, if you lose one big toe, you have to go through a very long process of learning how to walk again and how to move again. That one toe,
especially that one affects your gait and your run and your balance tremendously. Okay, huge. Now, let's say you have your toes, right? You don't have any of them amputated, or you've got all 5 toes on both feet, but they're not connected. What I mean by that is you're not able to articulate them. You're not able to fully ground them when you're doing your movements and exercises. Well, that's going to have an effect on the rest of your body. Yeah. One of the things that I started doing after we started working with Dr. Brink is now when I work out, I used to pay attention to, my back, my core stabilization, my posture, activating and being tense in all these different areas, my hips. But I never paid attention to my feet. Now I'll also pay attention to my feet. In fact, I'll pay attention more to my feet because that's been a weakness of mine, and it fixes like the rest of my my movement. I'll feel my hips moving better.
Yeah, your knees, everything else will adjust accordingly.
Yeah, this was I remember talking with Brink, and it's actually changed how I assess somebody. Mm-hmm. In the past, I would look at their shoulders and their chest and their hips and their legs, their knees. Like those were kind of like these key point areas I would kind of hone in on when I was watching a squat. And he was the one who told me, he's like, oh no, I look at the feet up, mm-hmm. and you can tell and it's so true now that I'm understanding that, fully grasping all these little tiny minute deviations in our ankles and in our feet, it just goes right at the kinetic chain. And you can see now, I'll look at somebody when squatting or deadlifting especially, and they perform the movement. I'm not even looking at the rest of their body. I'm just looking at their feet, and it'll tell you so much about everything else because you can just follow it up the chain and have a pretty good idea of why. Oh, that's why your knees are bothered. Oh, that's why your hip. Oh, that's why low back. Oh, okay, now this makes sense. Mm-hmm. And it's probably stemming here. I spent a lot of time my trainer career though adjusting all the other stuff. Trying to fix the hips and the knees and the shoulders and get.
This may be why, I don't know if you guys encountered this as trainers, but you'll address an issue, mm-hmm. and then it gets better, and then you'll have to 3-4 months later
it comes back.
Yeah, you got to quickly. Exactly, mm-hmm. because you didn't address the stuff that was around it.
I have a perfect case with one of my clients that used to be a dancer, and it was like this constant battle and process that like I was always battling, and I always was trying to get more like adduction and get her knees to come inward, and so I would just focus on that because I knew that like every time she's getting this like external rotation like coming in her squat, and like her knees are kind of coming out. And I had to look further and see that, wow, every time she walks or moves and balances, her ankles actually turn in. And so she's coming out with her feet, and she's also not like, she can't really pronate very well with her feet. So I had to like take it down to that level. Now we just work on walking patterns and focusing on ankle mobility, and it's done like a world of difference. So,
well, one thing that I'll notice too when they're working out, and you can even pay attention to yourself when you're squatting. Squatting is a good one, by the way. Just do a basic squat and look at your feet. Take your shoes and socks off. Stand in front of the mirror, and you'll notice, if you really watch and pay attention, you'll notice some of these deviations. But one of the more common ones I'll notice is like people's feet will like either their toes will come off the ground because they're trying to fix their hips, or their feet will turn out, or like one of mine, it was my right foot. My right foot would pronate, so it kind of cave in at the ankle. And I always wondered why my right foot would turn out. Like if I started deadlifting, I would start with my feet both looking the same, but by the third rep, my right foot would always be slightly turned out. And I always thought it was my hips, but it wasn't. It was my feet. And so what I did, and this is just like anything else, what you do, if I'm working on my foot stability, I can still do my deadlifts and squats, but what I'll do is I'll go lighter and I'll focus on grounding really hard with my foot. And then I'll maintain that with lighter weight throughout my form. So yeah, I'm not getting as intense of a workout with my hips or my back, but I'm kind of changing the patterning a little bit. And then I work my way up eventually to heavier and heavier weight. And lo and behold, I find my form feels, much more solid. I wasn't able to squat very deep for a long time, and part of it was my hips, but a big part of it was my feet.
Absolutely.
You know?
Well, I think where I was backwards is I always thought it was my hips, and then it caused to run down, right? When really it was the other way around. It was going on with my feet, and then that's, I have the exact same issue with the other side, and then that, internally rotates the femur when you pronate like that, and then you get the hip issues, and then you get the low back issues on that one side or whatever. This is part of why it's been so great to have a gym that is ours that we can come in and
train barefoot.
Yeah, that's the very first thing I do now is I just kick my shoes off, and if I don't train that way the entire session, I'll at least spend the first 20 minutes of my workout when I'm doing my prime movers and addressing mobility completely barefoot, and that's been huge. The other one I did a video of this on Instagram maybe a week or two ago, as squatting actually on my toes barefoot. Talk about a great foot strengthening, ankle strengthening exercise while I'm doing squats, so I'm working on all the other things too, but to keep myself on my toes the entire time while I drop down into a squat, and I definitely recommend somebody does that body weight first for a while before you even think about putting weight on you, because that could get dangerous. It's not something I would recommend to the average person, but squatting with no weight on you all the way down as deep as you can while staying on your toes, great exercise. Just naturally your toes will spread out to do that, to help keep you balanced. You'll feel your ankle having to stabilize as you come down. So it's been a money move for me.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at let's focus on the feet still, since we're on the feet, because we could talk about the hands next. But the feet are, besides your hands, it's probably the richest in terms of nerve endings and sensory
and muscles, nerve endings, bones, everything.
It's covered in muscle. It's made up of many, many, many different bones.
Oh, so many moving parts down there.
There's lots of moving parts, but we walk around and we cover them with these, with casts. Basically, it's almost like casts, right? Flexible casts, shoes, all the time. But there's one exercise in particular. It's called short foot. Which I'd never heard of before.
We're all terrible at that.
I can't do it.
No.
And it's so weird to not be able to do this. I watch videos of people doing it. Brink demonstrated.
Yeah, you're basically pulling into an arch position in the bottom of your foot.
It's like you're trying to make a fist with your foot.
You're trying to squeeze it up, though. You're not trying to grip with your toes. You're trying to squeeze it up. And it's like, what?
It's without your toes.
It doesn't make sense.
It's like you're just shortening, you're pulling up the arch and then flattening. Pulling up the arch.
Pulling the arch, flattening
and flattening.
You should be able to do that.
And it sucks because it's like when your arm falls asleep and you just can't move it.
Yeah.
That's what it is for me.
You're just like, huh?
There's nothing there. There's absolutely nothing there. So what I've been doing is when I'm watching TV or I'm sitting on the couch is I take my shoes and socks off and I just put my feet on the floor and then I just practice trying to get connected to that movement, because I realize that frequency is very important with getting connection. You got to keep practicing to be able to articulate and get that connection.
I mean, it's a good point. I've definitely taken a lot of these positions, especially 90-90 and on some of these other influential positions that are sort of foundational and staples when I'm watching TV. That's such a perfect time. Why are you sitting all in this fluffy couch? I'll do that to relax or whatever, but I want to make sure I split up the time So if I'm like just kind of be sitting somewhere for too long, like I'm gonna put myself in an optimal position.
Are there some tips that you guys give clients, or a progression that you guys typically put them through is to strengthen their feet and get reconnected? Like what's a basic protocol?
I take it case by case. So, like that's the first thing is really to see kind of where the dysfunction is happening and just watch the way they walk first with their shoes off, their socks off, all that kind of stuff. And then see what kind of connectivity they have in their toes. And then just sort of work my way from there, like what drills to do. You
don't have specific drills or things that you like to use or that comes to mind that you send your people to do?
Well, I have this. Go ahead.
Like, for example, like for me, I'll first, I have some ankle mobility stuff. I like the combat position. I think that's a great, easy starter. You're kind of in the seated position.
What's important with that, though, is
the intention.
Like you can't just get into it. Yeah. You have to like ground your foot and activate it in your ankle.
Well, I just want to see how high they can get up on their toes. So I'll have them like hold on to something if they need to, or just like in place, like just raise their heels up as high as they can, and then also like see what kind of range of motion they have, in opposition to that. And then, I'll take them through different walking patterns, and then also the beast or the quadruped where we're bringing it up on the toes and just see what kind of strength they have to just hold certain positions. Basically, just emulating a lot of different squat positions and different angles. So whether I have them laying on their back, or I have them in the quadruped position, or I have them up against a wall, and then like assessing like what kind of force and how they're distributing it down all the way through their ankle and feet.
Yeah, one of the first things that I do with clients is I just tell them to walk around barefoot.
There you go.
More often, because
that's what I said.
I know how. Like how deconditioned we are, with certain things. So I'll just say, okay, so what I want you to do is, 1 hour a day, take shoes and socks off. That's also important because, I like to use the hands as an example. If you always wear gloves with your hands, you're not getting the full, feeling of touching and moving things. Same thing with your feet. So walk around barefoot, for an hour, 3 days a week. And by the way, when people do this, who don't always do this, they'll come back to me and be like, "Ooh, my foot hurts," or "I'm getting,
I see what
pain
you're
in the arch
saying.
of my
So
foot."
more of a prescription for the week and for the month and all that, not just like what you do with them in a session.
No. I
was talking about what I do in a session. Yeah.
No. I'll just tell them, hey, just start walking around barefoot a little bit. Don't go crazy with it, because people will actually come to me and say, "Oh, I'm having a little pain in the arch of my foot," or because they're just not
get overstressed.
Yeah, they're just not used to doing it. And then what I'll do is once they do that for a little while, then I'll increase how much they walk barefoot. Then the next thing I'll do is I'll have them. I'll tell them, hey, when you're sitting down, you have no shoes on. I want you to play the piano with your toes. So like lift all your toes up and then go down pinky first and go down the row of your toes, and then just keep doing that. And you would be surprised how many people can't do that.
Yeah.
They just can't do that.
That's hard to do.
And not only can they not do that, but the ones that can do it, after about 5 reps of doing that, their feet start they just can't move them anymore.
Well, I think too, it's important to note, like people will notice a major discrepancy a lot of times between each foot. Like one foot, like you can do certain things with, and then the other one's just like totally disconnected. And typically that's where a lot of your shit's stemming from, is like, well, I can kind of wiggle my toes over here, and then the ones on the other side, it's just like no connection. Just can't move them whatsoever. That right there is like a huge red flag that you probably got a lot of shit that's stemming from that.
Have you seen the people, I'm sure you guys have seen videos of people who are like double arm amputees, and so they can use their feet to do everything?
Oh yeah, the crazy dexterity they have. It's just like that. So
but that's not like a special talent. I want everybody to know they just practice.
Well, technically we should should be able to use our feet damn near almost as good as we can use our hands.
Well,
right?
we just don't have long fingers on our.
Well, we don't have the opposable thumb, right?
Yeah,
that's what we don't have.
But you can articulate and move your feet and have a lot of control with them.
Yeah.
And I want people to realize, like, you don't need to obviously go that far, but if you just become more aware of the connectivity in your foot and your toes when you're doing your lifts, even if you have your shoes on. So you're at the gym, you can't take your shoes and socks off because they'll kick you out. But when you're deadlifting, when you're squatting, when you're shoulder pressing, when you're doing curls, if you just ground your foot, like put your feet on the ground and spread your toes out a little bit in your shoes and ground your foot, tense them up a little bit, and then do your exercises, you'll feel more connected to the movement itself. Doesn't matter if you're doing curls, shoulder presses, or even bench press. Actually, we know this with certain lifts, right? Even bench press, they tell you to ground into the floor when you're doing your lift. So these are things that you can do that are small that you're probably not doing that make a pretty big, big difference.
Tell you what, one of my clients, I just sent over I sent her the foot gym, and she fucking loved the foot gym.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll show you guys. So she's been raving about it. So I've been meaning to order it. So maybe I'll remember to put a post on Mind Pump Radio or whatever and share with you guys. But it's just this little platform. I'll show you a picture of it. It's a little platform and has all these little rollers and bands and things like that. Exercises for your feet. It's dope.
What?
Yeah, it's super dope. And you totally put it on.
Better get like a link for this now.
No, I will. Yeah, we'll check it out, and then I'll see if we can post a link for people so they can look into it. But she's been raving about it, and I've been meaning to order one for myself. So it's called the Foot Gym. So we'll have to post a link.
Excellent. Listen, if you like Mind Pump, leave us a 5-star rating review on iTunes. If we like your review and we pick it, you'll get a free Mind Pump t-shirt. Also, go to YouTube, check out Mind Pump TV. Awesome videos posted every single day. It is a treasure trove of information. Also, go to Instagram. You can find us on Mind Pump Radio. You can find me at Mind Pump Sal. Adam's at Mind Pump Adam. And Justin is at Mind Pump Justin.
Thank you for listening to Mind Pump. If your goal is to build and shape your body, dramatically improve your health and energy, and maximize your overall performance, check out our discounted RGB Super Bundle at mindpumpmedia.com. The RGB Super Bundle includes MAPS Anabolic, MAPS Performance, and MAPS Aesthetic. 9 months of phased expert exercise programming designed by Sal, Adam, and Justin to systematically transform the way your body looks, feels, and performs. With detailed workout blueprints and over 200 videos, the RGB Super Bundle is like having Sal, Adam, and Justin as your own personal trainers, but at a fraction of the price. The RGB Super Bundle has a full 30-day money-back guarantee, and you can get it now plus other valuable free resources at mindpumpmedia.com. If you enjoy this show, please share the love by leaving us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes and by introducing Mind Pump to your friends and family. We thank you for your support, and until next time, this is Mind Pump.